President, in his wisdom, promised to immediately get in touch with the Ecological Fund Office to remedy the situation.
Federal government to tackle ecological challenges in the southeast as President Muhammadu Buhari receives Imo State Governor.
The budget of NNPC here with the Nigerian Parliament had never seen.
Nigeria's crude oil production hits 2.49 million barrels per day, first time in years as House of Representatives reviews performance of NNPC.
The security challenges were particularly compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic and the violence that resulted from the NSAS protests.
State of the Nation, Inspector General of Police meets strategic officers to review operations. Plus, outbreak of leprosy in Rachaduma, Kogi State. Correspondent examines the issues of ignorance and the fear of stigmatization. Hello, good evening and welcome to NTA Network News with me, Jumwa Yusuf. I hope you're enjoying the seasonal weather change and still keeping safe. Tonight, Adiola Kakame Akere will be joining me from Lagos and Mina Okwabasi is from Enugu. Thanks so much for joining us. Now let's begin. President Muhammadu Buhari has restated the commitment of the federal government towards addressing the serious ecological challenges bedeviling parts of the country, especially the erosion menace in Imo State. This was while granting audience to Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that their discussions also centered on politics, national unity and development.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Governor Hope Uzodinma had told President Muhammadu Buhari that out of the 360 erosion sites in Imo State, 57 have already been assessed and therefore an estimated 75 billion naira is required towards addressing the menace.
It is now very critical and is an emergency case, and the President in his wisdom promised to immediately get in touch with the Ecological Fund Office to remedy the situation. That's an emergency.
The governor, who described as welcoming the defection of his Ebonyi State counterpart Dave Umahi to the APC, was emphatic that the governing party is the best bet for Ndibo to realize their developmental and other aspirations.
Our preachings and gospels have always been how to encourage national unity, how to encourage national integration, how to encourage national cohesion. I think it will be more cost effective to have my people, the people of Southeast, see reason and join APC, the national party. This Nigerian project belongs to all of us.
Governor Hope Uzodinma used the opportunity to appreciate the president for believing in Nigeria and committed towards addressing prevailing challenges selflessly for sustainable national growth and development.
We have a president who is very humble, who is determined, who has a target, and he is going to his target irrespective of what people are saying. The situation where you sit down and believe that until you are the one who is the president before Nigeria can move is a bloody waste of time.
He also thanked President Buhari for making it possible for Imo State to proudly host the first modular refinery in the country, thereby enhancing the economic fortune of the Eastern Heartland. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated President Roma Christian Kabore of Burkina Faso on his re-election for a 5-year second term in office. In a statement, President Buhari said he is pleased with the peaceful outcome of the election in which the voters of Burkina Faso renewed their mandate as their president. He said that winning a second term is a vote of confidence, but it also brings bigger challenges for leaders to work even harder to make life better for their citizens. The president also advised the re-elected Burkinabe leader to put partisanship aside and work for all Burkinabes, regardless of who voted for him or against him, saying that at this point you are no longer the leader of your party, but the leader of Burkina Faso. Now to party matters, the Forum of Non-National Working Committee, who are members of the National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress, has agreed to work with the current caretaker and extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the party, led by Governor Mai Mala Buni. This unanimous decision was taken at a strategic meeting held in Abuja. Salu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The All Progressives Congress Governors Forum, state chairman of the party, as well as members of the Governor Mai Mala Buni-led caretaker and extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee were present at the review meeting with an agenda to assess the party's progress in terms of governance, ongoing reforms aimed at rebuilding, rebranding, and increasing membership drive, the forum says, are in line with the progressives' ideology.
So, we are here today for a common goal. People may misinterpret our goal. Our goal is the unity of our party. Our goal is our party passing beyond 2023.
It's proper for us to talk about how we are going to deliver dividend of democracy, how we are going to deliver on the mandate given to us by Nigerians, before we now begin to talk about 2023.
The meeting urged party faithful occupying various leadership positions to focus attention on governance in the interest of the citizens. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now, adopting a pragmatic approach to ensure all school-age children in Northeast sub-region have access to quality education was among the resolutions reached at the 3rd Northeast Governors Forum held in Yola, Adamawa State. Yusuf Jika has details.
The Northeast Governors Forum meeting, which was attended by governors of Bauchi, Adamawa, Borno, and Gombe states, analyzed the common challenges of the region to include security problem, deficit infrastructure, less priority on the Mambila hydroelectric project, among other challenges. The forum adopted a regional approach on improving the loads of the region, enforced the Universal Basic Education Commission law to protect and ensure all children have equal opportunity to acquire basic education. Also, the governors called for immediate review of existing road contracts to improve economic activities in the region. The forum appealed to the federal government to make the projects awarded in the region a priority, as well as task the Northeast Development Commission to ensure projects are demand-driven that will impact on the people.
There's however absolutely for us to seriously look into how to stimulate and renew the confidence and trust of our people.
The forum knows that there is relative improvement in security situation in the sub-region. However, the activities of Boko Haram, bandits, cattle rustling, and kidnappers are still constituting a threat to sustainable development.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Let's bring you other news now. The Group Managing Director of NNPC, Mele Kyari, says crude oil production has hit 2.49 million barrels per day. This feat is being achieved for the first time in the past 10 years. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the corporation was at the House of Representatives for budget defense.
During an appearance before the House of Representatives Joint Committee on Petroleum Upstream, Downstream and that of Oil and Gas, the GMD NNPC also expressed reasons behind the shutting down of the 4 refineries in the country.
The lines, as a result of the acts of vandal and thieves of all sorts, that any time we attempt to pump more than 110,000 barrels per day into the Escravos to Ori line, the line gives up. So it can't deliver more than 110. And therefore, you cannot practically operate Kaduna and Wari refinery with the current structure of the pipeline.
Efforts, he added, are on to fix the facilities, beginning with the refinery in Port Harcourt. The lawmakers stressed the need for the NNPC to ensure the audit of its accounts, noting that the 6.6 billion naira budgeted to rehabilitate the refineries should be justified.
Today's session, having the GMD and his entourage to come and present their budget to the National Assembly. The budget of NNPC here, with the Nigerian Parliament, had never seen. We must appreciate the support and cooperation of the oil stakeholders, especially the NNPC, ably represented by the GMD.
The Joint Committee requested the organization to furnish it with details of financial expenditure to enable scrutiny as it works on the corporation's proposals for 2021. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Supreme Court has again ordered Shell Oil Company of Nigeria to pay compensation to the community in Ogoni land for the oil spill which destroyed the ecosystem. The Apex Court reaffirmed an earlier judgment which it had passed in January 2019. Femi Okeu reports.
For 31 years now, some communities in Ogoni land of Rivers State have been in court seeking compensation over the oil spillage that has polluted their environment occasioned by the operations of Shell. At each level of the Nigerian judicial system, the communities have won their cases of 72 billion naira compensation. On the 11th of January 2019, the Supreme Court upheld the judgment of the lower court, only for Shell to again return to the Apex Court this year, asking for a reversal of that judgment. The Ogoni communities, in a preliminary objection through their counsel, prayed the Supreme Court to throw out the appeal as it constituted a desecration of the finality of the land's Apex Court. In a judgment presided over by Justice Bode Rothviver and written by Justice Chima Nweze, the Supreme Court upheld the preliminary objection and reaffirmed its earlier judgment of the 11th of January 2019, ordering Shell to pay compensation to the Ogoni communities.
The judgment sum as at today, with interest running, is in the neighborhood of 182 billion naira. The judgment itself now executory because a garnishee order absolute has been issued.
The communities will now embark on steps to take benefit of the Supreme Court judgment. In Abuja, Femi Okeu, NTA News.
The federal government has promised to reconsider the proposal by the organized labor on reversal of increment in petroleum pump price. Austin Ayebe reports this was achieved at the meeting between the organized labor and the government, where the parties agreed to consult all the relevant stakeholders in the petroleum industry.
Message from the organized labor is clear, and they want a reversal of the pump price to what it was, so the government side will take it back. Even though we know government is not fixing prices of PMS anymore because it's deregulated.
Till the next 1 week for NNPC and the Minister of Petroleum to do proper consultation on the reversal of the fuel price back to what it was before.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said everything possible will be done to improve the welfare of Nigerians.
The government delegation, I want to assure the organized labor of the preparedness of government to work hand in hand with you to ensure that resolutions are reached.
The broadcasting organizations in Nigeria have been called upon to rise above board by projecting national issues from a positive point of view rather than allow foreign media organizations take the lead and plunge the country into crisis. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the call at an interactive session with members of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria in Abuja. Anthony Forson tells us more.
The meeting is coming on the heels of the NSAS protest and the position CNN took. The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said Nigerian media organs have a greater stake in the country and can do better, hence the need to brace up.
But the big lesson to draw from CNN's faux pas is that it magnifies the failure or inadequacy of our own broadcast organizations. In the wake of our spat with CNN, people are asking, why didn't our own broadcast stations take the lead in reporting the incident at Lekki? Why did they take the lead in presenting an authentic narrative? Why must we allow the foreign broadcast stations, some of which didn't even have correspondents on ground, to dictate the pace or the narrative?
The minister disclosed that CNN, for now, in his words, is grasping at straws in desperation to justify its inaccurate and unbalanced investigation.
But in the process, it is sinking more and more into professional infamy. Yesterday, November 26th, in the clearest indication yet of its confusion over the Lekki toll gate incident, CNN tried to clarify its tweet October 23rd by saying it never attributed the death toll of 38 to Amnesty International, and that the tweet also did not make it clear that the death toll was for protests across the country.
Again, the minister said commentators on one hand have constantly redirected CNN to their tweet. For the bond members, having applauded the interaction with the minister, called for more of such interactions and expressed sadness over the fine placed on some organizations. Others equally pointed at a possible extension on waivers and tax reliefs by the NBC. It is expected that the bond members, in their review of the NSAS protest, will come up with a guide for their members to comply with. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Boboye Oyeyemi has assured that measures are being intensified to restore operational facilities of the FRSC destroyed by hoodlums following the aftermath of the NSAS protest. He stated there is doing an on-the-spot assessment of its facilities at Olu, Imo State, which was affected by the incident. Bright Obucho reports.
The aftermath of the NSAS protests in the country has no doubt left several government institutions still counting their losses. The Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, who is on a tour of the South-South and South-East zones of the FRSC commands affected by the NSAS violence, visited the FRSC Olu Unit Command, Umona, Imo State, to ascertain the level of damage done to facilities of the FRSC to speed up the process of repairs. After due assessment, the Corps Marshal affirms that in order to address traffic challenges during the end-of-year festivities, there is urgent need to restore operational facilities.
I've assessed it, and I think we have to make efforts, including the patrol car, and we fix them. Mr. President will give us support to fix everything because it's very critical for the end of the year patrol operations.
Facilities vandalized include petrol vehicles, computers, generating sets, among others. Enolo, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports when we return. I'll be back in a bit. Thanks for rejoining us. Now to security matters. 2020 has been quite a challenging year for the Nigerian police, with the rise in cases of crimes and the act of vandalism that trailed the NSAS protest. To keep track with this national security situation and re-strategize for effective policing, staff police officers are meeting to review the operations. Correspondent Francis Fom has a report.
The security challenges were particularly compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic and the violence that resulted from the NSAS protests.
This is the last strategic meeting of the Nigeria Police in 2020. The agenda is to evaluate the progress made and chart a way forward for a vibrant and civil-related policing.
We should note that the ever-increasing complexity of crime as well as the evolving activities of subversive elements will continue to test our professional competency. I'm confident in your ability to work with other security agencies in ensuring that the country remains safe.
Mr. President, is very much.
Minister of Police Affairs encouraged officers to initiate deliberate ways of surmounting security challenges facing the nation.
We want to urge you to continue to be more committed to the cause of the country and to continue to ensure that we maintain peace and security of the country.
The minister assures the force of government's commitment to equipping the police with modern technology to combat crime In Abuja, Francis from NTA News.
The Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the air component of Operation Hadirin Daji has recorded more successes against armed bandits in the northwest of the country, with the obliteration of another camp and neutralization of scores of their fighters at Birin Kogo Visit Forest in Katsina State. DMO Coordinator Major General John Eneche says the air raids were conducted on the heels of intelligence reports indicating that 2 camps with their clusters of huts were among the locations being used by the terrorist-affiliated armed bandits to store their sophisticated weapons and plan attacks. Aerial surveillance missions also established pattern of live evidence of the presence of black attire-wearing terrorists at the 2 locations. Nigerian Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunships destroyed portions of the camps, including their storage facilities, which were seen engulfed in flames. Sources later confirmed that no fewer than 37 bandits were neutralized at Dunya, while many more were killed at Benin Kogo, both in Katsina State. To upscale operations and save lives, the Nigerian Air Force has been reactivating some of its valuable assets locally. The latest are 3 L-39ZA Albatros fighter jets. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, on operational visit to the 403 training school in Kano, announced that they will be rolled out in 2 weeks. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
One of the L-39ZA fighter jets out for ground running, a major phase in aircraft maintenance. From 2015 to date, more than 20 Nigerian Air Force air assets have either been reactivated or upgraded to enhance conservation of resources and upscale operations. These were carried out abroad and in Nigeria. For the first time, major maintenance work on C-130 Hercules aircraft were successfully conducted in Nigeria. Maintenance is also ongoing on 9 aircrafts in Makurdi, 2 in Kenji, and 3 in Kano.
The most exciting thing about what we are doing in terms of mobilizing assets for the security of Nigeria is the fact that some of these maintenance activities are being done locally here in Nigeria. This is the second time we are reactivating the L-39 aircraft here in Kano in the last 5 years.
Nigeria is being supported in this project by experts from the Czech Republic to build local capacity, create jobs, save costs, and foreign exchange. From Kano, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Still talking security, 65 senior officers drawn from the military and other security agencies have graduated from the Nigerian Army War College, Abuja. The graduate capacity building for course 4 of the institution established in 2017 focused on technical command training to enhance synergy during joint operations and in volatile environment. The Minister of Defense charged the graduates to be the instrument of change in their various organizations.
I commend the hard work and endurance of all the participants of Course 4. Let me also, in particular, acknowledge the tenacity of the participants from other security agencies and organizations who may have found certain aspects of the course more challenging than their routine duties.
The Army War College Nigeria was conceptualized to bridge the training gap between the tactical and strategic level training for operational level officers of the Nigerian Army. To this end, the War Course curriculum recognizes the dynamics of our ever-changing operating environment with particular emphasis to the Nigerian geopolitical landscape.
The graduation marks the end of the 8 months intensive study. Now, with the gradual return of academic activities globally after the devastating effect of COVID-19, Sector 4 Command of the National Border Drill Operations covering the Northwest says international students with valid traveling documents and approval from the Office of the National Security Advisor have not interfered in crossing back to their respective schools. Coordinator of the drill with headquarters in Katsina, Comptroller of Customs Aliu Alhaji Muhammad, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the migration summary of the drill and displaying smuggled items intercepted along Katsina axis. Shehu Adamu reports.
National Border Drill Operations is a federal government exercise under which operatives were drawn from security agencies to ensure strict compliance to the ongoing land border closure to stimulate the nation's economy. The drill is being coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor. Sector 4 Coordinator of the National Border Drill Operations said 3,152 persons were approved crossing, 138 persons refused departure, while 108 persons denied admission.
The students that come or the authority that come will advise them to go to the NSA office to get clearance. Because in our platform, we are asked not to allow anything in or out without a clearance from the NSA.
Meanwhile, the Sector 4 of the National Border Drill Operations has within the month of August and September 2020 intercepted and seized 3,111 bags of foreign rice of 50 kilograms, 46 bales of new foreign textile materials, 43 bales of used clothes and 9 exotic cars. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Occurrence of accidents, injuries, diseases and death arising from flagrant disregard of safety and health regulations in Nigerian territorial waters will soon become a thing of the past as the Diving Governing Board was inaugurated in Abuja by the Minister of State Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo. The task before the board is to guide the implementation of intervention and inspection programs to reduce fatalities, eliminate occupational hazards associated with the use of diving equipment.
It is therefore very heartwarming to note that the diving program, use, installation, maintenance, examination and testing of diving plant and equipment, diving crew and any vessel or installation will henceforth be fully regulated in Nigeria with the coming on stream of these regulations.
I am also committed, seeing this as a chance for us to ensure that safety and equity drive in our territorial water.
The Diving Governing Board, statutorily provided by the Diving at Work Regulations 2018, composed of diving medical specialist, a chief inspector, an instructor, Nigerian Navy, and a member of NIMASA. Federal government says it will continue to strengthen existing strategies towards the prevention of COVID-19 second wave in the country. Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehenere, said this while receiving delivery of another batch of COVID-19 non-pharmaceutical supplies to boost capacity response against the virus from the National Lottery Trust Fund. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Another consignment of personal protective equipment to tackle COVID-19 is being delivered. This is from the Nigerian Lottery Trust Fund to the federal government.
These objectives are in tandem with President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration's commitment to eliminating the deadly virus from our society at once.
It is an intervention that the federal government emphasized is needed to fight against the pandemic, and collaboration with all stakeholders is seen as a way of stopping another phase of economic and social losses.
COVID-19 remains very virulent and a dangerous pandemic, and the World Health Organization statistics show that more cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the past 4 weeks.
Government hopes that the facilities will be put to proper use for the benefit of the people of Nigeria, particularly at this critical time.
Experts insist observation of safety protocols remain key.
The continued intervention is a pointer to the fact that COVID-19 has come to live with humanity, but with the right attitude, the curve can be flattened and the mental depression connected with the virus could be effectively managed. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Time now to join Adiola in Lagos for more reports on Network News. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Juma. It's good to see you. Now,
Now, the management of Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, has reacted to a viral video making the rounds that depicts the management of being insensitive to mothers of newborn babies on admission. Joyken Abakuya, who investigated the facts, reports.
And I can show you the living condition of mothers.
In a viral video making the rounds on social media, a faceless woman called out Lagos University Teaching Hospital for what she termed poor living condition of mothers whose newborns are patients in the hospital. The management of LUTH, however, says the online video was a misrepresentation of what actually happened at the hospital on Wednesday.
A decision was taken about 4 weeks ago that we needed to move the crèche part of that building to other place, to evacuate it, so as to create additional 4 or 5 beds for the mothers in that place. So essentially that's the reason why it was very painful when somebody was turning it against us. During the evacuation, the people that evacuated them actually made a mistake and asked the mothers to leave. 1 or 2 mothers to leave. Immediately the mothers got the news, they contacted the head of the neonatal unit, and I made sure that it was stopped immediately. The mothers were not asked to leave that place.
After hearing from LUTH, I decided to visit the section featured in the spontaneous video. First, I took a peep at the neonatal ward with newborns receiving care. Full access was not granted due to the sensitive nature of the ward. And this is another lodge for women whose newborns are on admission, mostly referred from other hospitals. Now, this is where dust was raised. A section of it is currently undergoing renovation to create space for more women. My findings show that the lodge was provided by LUTH for a token for mothers whose babies are on admission, and lodging is optional.
They are relatives to either the father or the mother of the baby that are in the center.
A stop at the controversial Blue Roof Corridor proved that the men and women in that video are not patients, but relatives who decided to make themselves comfortable while visiting their hospitalized family and friends. In Lagos, Joyken Abakuya, NTA News.
The first supervisory control and data acquisition system in West Africa has been inaugurated by the Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, in line with the federal government's plan to digitize the power sector and address shortfalls in power distribution. Amaka Uwu reports that the innovation was driven by the Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Lagos.
With this inauguration, an innovation that brings about effective tracking of power distribution and monitoring system comes alive. Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, who represented the President Muhammadu Buhari, says the SCADA system is a significant milestone that supports the federal government in promoting objective of reducing power outage.
These are one of the most important projects that we are expected for every distribution company to have, because in this situation, I don't think any customer will be cheated again. This will now tell you that whoever consumes lights, that will be given a correct bill.
Meet the authorities of the Eco Electricity Distribution Company, who assure customers that the lofty height attained will identify loopholes in networks across the 10 districts.
SCADA is fully compliant with global standard, and with its fiber optic cable communication system, it effortlessly provides the required bandwidth, high network performance, scalability, availability, reliability, security, and service capabilities.
SCADA, from where we stand, is really about, one, when you're monitoring, when you're able to look at what is happening at each of your substations remotely.
SCADA system will be effectively managed by skilled personnel.
Now that we have the service reflective tariff regimes with clear hours of service to give to certain bands of customers, it is in our best interest to ensure that our systems are up and running so that customers are happy.
It has helped us
to reduce, which is one of the API of DISCO, the ATC and C losses.
The project, which started in 2014 by the Eco Electricity Distribution Company, was supported by the Central Bank of Nigeria's intervention on Electricity Market Stability Facility granted DISCOs in 2015. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And so much from Lagos. The news will continue after this break. To stay with us.
You're welcome back. After 200 years of existence, the remote agrarian community of Iloji in Ijebu East local government has been electrified, courtesy of the Rural Electrification Agency REA 100 solar hybrid mini-grid designed to fast-track economic activities in remote communities through renewable energy. Correspondent Joel Popola reports that the Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency Ahmed Salihijo Ahmed said the objective was realized through the Rural Electrification Fund and public-private partnership.
The project commissioned by a representative of the state governor is among the many solar-powered hybrid mini-grid projects of the Rural Electrification Agency executed through public-private partnership. The Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency, and other dignitaries assessed facilities at the project sites. The Managing Director urged the beneficiaries to take full advantage of the project to maximize their potentials, adding that the grant courtesy of the Federal Government Rural Electrification Fund seeks to provide electricity access to communities.
The goal of the federal government is to deploy these sort of solutions to help electricity access in environments like this. I'm therefore delighted that the people of Ijebu henceforth will enjoy clean, safe, and reliable energy.
Managing Director ACOB Lighting Technology Alexander Chinedu Obiechina and other stakeholders commended REA for the gesture.
On behalf of the state government and the entire people of Ogun State, I express profound appreciation to the federal government of Nigeria. This I will do through our Rural Electrification Agency.
To realize the full potential of the solar hybrid mini-grid project, stakeholders urge the state government to make access road to the community more motorable. From Oloji in Ijebu East local government, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Stakeholders have lent their voices to the global campaign to orange the world and bring hope to victims and survivors of rape within these 16 days of activism against violence on women. To further address the issue, Minister of Women Affairs held an interactive session with women groups across the nation. Momso Damien Dati reports.
Women from different groups, unions and organizations all converge in Abuja to make an input on the issues that concern them most.
I want you to empathize with that woman that has suffered all manner of violence. I want you to imagine that your own daughter is one of those girls in the northeastern part of Nigeria.
It is an opportunity provided at this National Accountability Town Hall meeting organized by the Minister of Women Affairs.
While ending the pandemic of violence against women and girls in Nigeria, this begins with encouraging more reporting. It is only the first step. It must also include a comprehensive review of the system from the girls' and women's point of view. Resources and training are needed to improve services so that survivors of violence can get free medical care, legal support, and long-term counseling and support.
We must take bold and decisive steps and hold each other accountable in our collective commitments to end violence against women and girls.
With increasing awareness on the subject matter, the women are optimistic that sooner or later, incessant cases of rape and violence will be a thing of the past. In Abuja, Momso Damien Lati, NTA News.
Now, new cases of leprosy have been recorded in Achadama, Kogi State. Correspondent Ayo Ibigimi, who was there, reports that the reoccurrence of the disease in the community is attributed to ignorance and the fear of stigmatization.
The report of the outbreak of leprosy in Kogi State became widespread when the Leprosy Mission Nigerian statistics showed that new cases of leprosy were recorded between January to November 2020. 3 new cases were identified in Ochadamu, Ofu local government area of Kogi State. Medical experts who spoke to NTA on the situation say there is no need for panic as adequate and necessary plans are being effected to stop further spread of the chronic infectious disease.
The first signs you see are usually loss of sensations, loss of sensations on the limbs, and then sometimes there could be plaque on the limbs too. So when you see those signs, you should come to the hospital.
Focal person, Holy Memorial Hospital Ochadam, says leprosy is curable and early detection and treatment will go a long way to prevent disability of affected persons. They, however, advise against unhealthy practices amidst communal living, although state officials are yet to make any pronouncement on the disease, and all efforts to reach the state commissioner proved abortive. Ayodele Bibemi, NTA News.
Mina in Enugu has the next set of reports. It's good to see you, Mina.
Same here, Jemai. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. More youths in the country have benefited from the skill acquisition initiative of the federal government offered by the Scientific Equipment Development Institute in Enugu State. The latest beneficiaries are 30 young indigenes of Aninri, Ogo, and Oju River constituency of Enugu State. The report. The 30 graduates, all selected from Ogo, Aninri, and Oju River Federal Constituency of Enugu State, were trained in 6 selected areas of plastics recycling, woodworks, electrical engineering, ICT and networking, reverse engineering, amongst others.
That's actually why I built it for now. We learned conduit wiring and also surface wiring.
I can work in the CBT center. I can conduct any CBT examination because I don't know networking.
In line with federal government's drive to empower more youths in the country, SEDI Enugu has remained focused in its mandate to train and equip young graduates, teachers and artisans with modern trends in technological know-how to feed the production and manufacturing markets.
They should try to believe in themselves that they can do something and survive, not just hooping on civil service job.
It is actually meant to give them opportunities to enhance their skills.
The graduation of 30 artisans by SEDI is the 3rd batch of technical training this year. The training center is equipped to handle about 21 different technical and scientific fields of endeavor. The outbreak of COVID-19 in the country has reinforced the need for government and relevant stakeholders to tackle food insecurity in Nigeria. It is in line with this objective that the Enugu State government initiated programs to enhance access to funds for smallholder farmers in the state. Deputy Governor of the state restated the state government's determination to grow agriculture in Enugu State when she received in audience members of the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund. Susan Eze has a report.
Agriculture, a critical sector, has suffered setbacks in food production and disruptions in domestic food supplies, with food insecurity staring nations like Nigeria in the face. Nigeria, through the central bank, has introduced various intervention programs. The Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund is one of such interventions designed to mitigate risks associated with agric loans by guaranteeing up to 75% of the net amount in default. Enugu State, according to the ACGSF Management Board, has shown significant commitment to the scheme since inception.
Loans valued at 2.128 billion were prepared under the scheme in Enugu by 13,329 farmers.
The Enugu State government says it is ever ready to key into agric intervention programs, especially in the areas it has the comparative advantage. The Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund Amendment Act was assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari in June 2019. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that's a bit from here. It's back to Jume in Abuja.
Thank you, Mina. Now to sports update. Nigeria's the Tigers set for their second game of the FIFA Afro Basket qualifiers. Bade Adele is our guide.
Nigeria's D Tigers are getting set to take on Rwanda in their second group encounter of the 2021 FIBA Afrobasket qualifiers this Saturday in Kigali. The 2015 African champions, who beat South Sudan 76-56 in their group opener on Thursday, are targeting a much improved outing against the host. To football, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has challenged the Nigeria Football Federation to ensure the camp of the Super Eagles is rid of football agents and hangers-on. This is coming on the heels of the team's disappointing outing in the two-legged 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying fixtures against Sierra Leone, a development which has seen the 2013 AFCON winners drop from 32nd to 35th in the latest FIFA ranking.
Take away anybody that has no business. We don't want any agents or call them whatever. We don't want them around the national team. It's the Nigerian national team. They can go to any private football club.
Elsewhere, champions Liverpool have the chance to move out on their own at the top of the Premier League table when they play away to Brighton at the Amex Stadium on Saturday in a match that will be live on NTA from 1 in the afternoon. In other fixtures, Manchester City and Burnley face off also on Saturday, while on Sunday, Southampton host Manchester United with Chelsea and Tottenham trading tackles. And on a sad note, tens of thousands of people paid tribute to Diego Maradona as the 1986 World Cup winner was buried on Thursday in a private ceremony. Fans who gathered along roads as his funeral car drove by were seen weeping, blowing kisses and praying. Maradona died of a heart attack on Wednesday at the age of 60. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
And the quick check of the weather prospects for Saturday is next.
Glad to have you join us. We observe increased cloudiness over the western flank of the country with moisture reaching up to the southern part of Kebbi State. This should increase daytime temperature. We still expect sunny and hazy atmosphere over the north, while the central cities, including the inland cities of the south, should expect more cloudiness with spells of sunshine. We expect thunderstorms over the coastal parts of Delta State, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom from late morning into afternoon. We expect these conditions to linger and encroach areas around Lagos State. And that's for the weather forecast. Do stand by for the temperature details. I am Akami Samarda, and thanks for watching.
Before we go, remember to connect with the NTA. Kick against rape and rapists. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jume Yusuf.